5 powerful signs. You are awakening, not broken. Your pain has a purpose. Have you ever felt like you don't quite belong? As if the weight you carry isn't just personal suffering, but something deeper, something meaningful? Maybe it feels like an invisible burden pressing on your soul, a restlessness that won't let you settle, a sense of seeing what others don't. It's not just loneliness. It's not just sadness. It's something else, something unshakable. You look at the world differently. You feel things deeply. And while society is quick to label this as a flaw, an ailment to be treated, a wound to be healed, what if it's not a sickness but a sign? What if the very struggles that make you feel isolated are proof that you are awakening, that your suffering is not a defect but a refinement? Throughout history, those who saw beyond the ordinary were often misunderstood. They walked alone, questioned everything, and bore an unseen weight. But they were not lost. They were being prepared. Pain has a way of shaping the strongest minds. Fire doesn't destroy gold, it purifies it. Likewise, the heaviness you feel may not be a curse, but a calling, a sign that you are being forged into something greater, set apart to see what others ignore, to understand what others dismiss. At times, this awakening may feel like a burden, an overwhelming sensitivity to things most people overlook. The injustice in the world, the suffering of others, the emptiness of superficial conversations. You see these things clearly while others remain blind to them. But this is not a weakness. This is a responsibility. The world is full of distractions, illusions, and noise. Most people drift through life without ever questioning what's real, but not you. You feel something stirring within you, an awareness that refuses to be ignored. This is your sign. In this video, we will explore 5 powerful signs that reveal you are not broken, but awakening. These signs may challenge you, but they will also bring clarity. If you've ever wondered whether your suffering had meaning, stay with me, because you may be closer to your purpose than you think. 1. Rejection is not the end. It's the fire that forges you. Rejection is one of life's harshest teachers, but also one of the most necessary. It strips away illusions, forces self-reliance, and reveals what truly matters. If you've often felt like an outsider, misunderstood, unappreciated, or set apart, it's not by accident, it's by design. From an early age, you may have sensed that you perceive the world differently. While others are content with the surface, you crave depth. Where others conform, you question. And for that, you have been met with resistance. Rejection is painful, but it serves a hidden purpose. It forces you to stand on your own, to trust your intuition, and to develop an inner strength that cannot be shaken by the opinions of others. Society rewards those who follow, not those who challenge the status quo. And yet, every breakthrough, every true shift in human thinking has come from someone who refused to fit in. Think of some of the greatest minds in history: Nikola Tesla, Galileo, even Socrates. They were all rejected, ridiculed, even condemned. Not because they were wrong, but because they saw what others refused to see. Their rejection was not a punishment, it was refinement. At first, rejection may feel like an attack, a door being slammed in your face. But over time, if you look closely, you will see it for what it truly is, a form of selection. The world removes people from your path who are not aligned with your purpose. It redirects you away from places that would have kept you stagnant. It teaches you that the only approval you need is your own. Many spend their lives chasing external validation, shaping themselves to fit the expectations of others. But those who embrace rejection learn a rare and powerful truth. Freedom begins where the need for approval ends. What does this mean for you? If friends have distanced themselves because you think differently, let them go. They were never meant to walk your path. If family dismisses your ideas because they don't fit their expectations, stand firm. Your truth does not need their permission to be valid. If you feel like a stranger even in familiar places, embrace it. Growth often requires separation. Rejection isn't failure, it's a signal. It's life refining you, pushing you beyond comfort, forcing you to become who you were meant to be. Rejection strips away the inessential think of fire. It burns, but it also purifies. Gold is refined in the hottest flames. Iron is hardened through repeated strikes. And the soul is strengthened through rejection. If you have faced rejection time and time again, it is not a sign that you are lost. It is a sign that you are being shaped. The fire of isolation burns away the need for approval, leaving behind only what is essential: conviction, purpose, and an unshakable inner strength. Some of the most profound transformations in life are born from rejection. The relationships that failed, the opportunities that slipped away, the people who left, all of them were redirecting you towards something better. But you can only see this truth when you stop viewing rejection as an enemy and instead embrace it as your greatest teacher. You are not here to blend in. You are here to see, to question, to challenge. And that means you will walk a road that few understand. That is the price of awakening. Rejection is not the end of your journey, it is the beginning of your transformation. 2. The depth of your emotions is not a weakness, it's a gift. There is a weight you carry, an emotional depth that others often do not understand. You feel the unspoken pain in a room, sense the sorrow behind someone's smile, and absorb emotions that others dismiss. While many navigate life skimming the surface, you dive deep, experiencing the world in ways that seem invisible to those around you. Society tells you, this is a flaw, that feeling too much is a burden, that sensitivity is a sign of weakness. You may have been told to toughen up, to stop overthinking, to not take things so personally. But what if this isn't a flaw, but proof that you are being shaped for something greater? Emotional depth is a sign of awareness, not weakness. Those who change the world are rarely indifferent. The greatest thinkers, poets, revolutionaries, they were not made of stone. They felt deeply. They saw beyond the surface of life. Their hearts burned with an urgency that others could not comprehend. History is full of people who were dismissed for feeling too much. Vincent van Gogh, Emily Dickinson, Carl Jung, all were considered too intense, too sensitive, too detached from the norm. But their emotional depth wasn't a hindrance, it was their gift. It allowed them to create, to express, to understand the human experience in ways no one else could. The cost of feeling deeply, but this depth of feeling comes at a price. It can be isolating. Have you ever been told you're too sensitive or that you overthink everything? People who do not feel as deeply as you may never understand why a single injustice lingers in your mind for days. They move on while you continue to replay moments in your head, searching for meaning, trying to make sense of emotions that refuse to fade. You are not wrong for feeling this way. Your emotions are not a mistake. The reason you feel things so deeply is because you are attuned to something greater. You have an awareness that others lack, a heightened sense of connection to the world, to people, to the energies around you. But this depth of feeling can be overwhelming if not understood. It can lead to exhaustion, frustration, or even despair if you do not learn how to channel it effectively. How to harness this gift. Your emotions are not meant to control you, they are meant to guide you. When properly understood, they can become your greatest strength. Here's how. 1. Learn to sit with your emotions, not to be consumed by them, but to understand them. Most people suppress emotions. They distract themselves with noise, entertainment, and endless tasks, avoiding any moment of stillness. But your emotions are there for a reason. Instead of fighting them, learn to listen. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to teach me? Why is this moment staying with me? Is this my own emotion, or am I absorbing the energy of those around me? By doing this, you train yourself to separate reaction from reflection. Instead of being overwhelmed by emotions, you begin to understand them, to navigate them with wisdom. 2. Find a healthy outlet for your emotional depth. Your emotional energy needs a direction, or else it will turn inward and weigh you down. Channel it into something meaningful. Write. Express your emotions through journaling, poetry, or storytelling. Create. Music, art, photography, whatever medium speaks to you. Move. Physical activity like walking, running, or martial arts helps release built-up emotional tension. Speak. Share your insights with people who appreciate deep conversations. Your emotions are not a burden when they are transformed into something constructive. 3. Protect your energy. Not everyone will understand your depth. Not everyone is capable of feeling as deeply as you do. And that's okay. You do not need to explain your emotions to those who cannot comprehend them. Surround yourself with those who respect your depth, not those who mock it. Be selective about who you share your emotions with. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. Learn the power of detachment. You can care deeply without allowing external energy to consume you. The world does not need more indifference. It needs people like you, people who feel, who care, who refuse to become numb to life's meaning. Your depth is your power at times. Your emotions may feel overwhelming, as if they are pulling you under. But remember this, you are not meant to be numb. You are meant to feel. You are meant to see. Your ability to feel deeply is a gift, not a burden. It allows you to connect, to create, to understand others in ways they cannot understand themselves. Society has trained people to believe that emotional strength means suppressing feelings. But the truth is, real strength is the ability to feel deeply and still remain in control, to experience life fully without being consumed by it. So embrace your emotional depth. Do not let the world convince you that it is a weakness, because when harnessed with wisdom, it can change everything. 3. True clarity comes in stillness. To see beyond the surface, to hear what others cannot, requires a mind disciplined in stillness. The world is loud, full of distractions, pulling you in 100 directions at once. Every moment, notifications demand your attention, conversations swirl around you, and the external world fights to keep your mind occupied. But those who are meant to discern truth must learn to quiet the noise. When was the last time you truly sat in silence? No distractions, no music, no phone, no conversations, just you and your thoughts. If that idea makes you uncomfortable, it's not by accident. The modern world conditions us to fear stillness because stillness leads to clarity, and clarity makes us question things we were never supposed to question. Why does this matter? Clarity does not come in chaos. It emerges in solitude. Those who speak with wisdom first learn to listen. Many spend their lives reacting, but the ones who shape the world pause, observe, and weigh their words carefully. Throughout history, the greatest minds have sought solitude, not to escape, but to understand. Marcus Aurelius, Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla. They all withdrew from the noise of society, not because they didn't care about the world, but because they needed silence to hear the truth beneath the distractions. Consider this. How often do you find yourself filling the silence with noise? When you're alone, do you instinctively reach for your phone, turn on music, or seek a distraction? This is not just a habit, it is a form of avoidance. Why the world fears stillness. The reason stillness feels unnatural is because it forces you to confront yourself. In silence, all the emotions you've ignored, all the doubts you've buried, and all the questions you've suppressed begin to rise to the surface. But this is not a bad thing. This is the path to self-mastery. Most people are afraid to be alone with their thoughts because they fear what they might discover. They fear the truth that stillness reveals, the truth about their choices, their relationships, their unfulfilled desires. But if you are willing to embrace stillness, you will see what others cannot, how to cultivate stillness and gain clarity. 1. Train yourself to sit in silence. Begin with just a few minutes a day. No distractions, no agenda. Just observe your thoughts without judgment. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but over time, you will realize that your mind is not your enemy. It is your greatest tool when properly understood. Ask yourself, what thoughts repeatedly arise when I am in silence? Am I avoiding something that needs my attention? What is my intuition trying to tell me? Stillness is not about emptying your mind. It is about understanding it. 2. Listen more than you speak. People who lack clarity speak to fill the silence. They talk in circles, looking for external validation, hoping that if they say enough, someone will confirm what they already suspect. But those who seek wisdom listen first. Before responding, pause. Observe not just words, but tone, body language, what is left unsaid. Train yourself to read between the lines, to hear the emotions beneath the surface. The more you listen, the more you will see, not just in others, but within yourself. 3. Follow your inner knowing. If you feel an unshakable pull toward a certain path, a deep knowing about something others dismiss, trust it. Society conditions us to doubt ourselves, to seek external permission before making decisions. But the strongest minds, those who lead rather than follow, trust their own perception. Ask yourself, have I ignored my intuition in the past? What happened? Do I rely too much on external validation instead of trusting myself? What decisions have I been avoiding because they require me to step into the unknown? The power of silent observation. Most people react to life. They move from one moment to the next, driven by impulses, emotions, and external pressures. But those who shape the world do something different. They pause. They watch before they act. They reflect before they decide. They understand that clarity comes not from noise but from silence. The greatest warriors, the most brilliant thinkers, the most influential leaders, all had one thing in common. They mastered the art of stillness. Bruce Lee once said, "The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus." That focus does not come from endless stimulation. It comes from knowing when to be still, when to wait, when to listen. The more you embrace silence, the clearer your thoughts will become. Clarity is a skill. It must be cultivated, refined, and protected. If you find yourself confused, lost, uncertain, ask yourself, when was the last time I truly sat in silence? Stillness is where truth is found. It is where you are found. So train yourself to embrace it, because the answers you seek are not out in the world. They have been within you all along. 4. The weight you carry is not a curse. It's a calling. There is a unique kind of burden that does not stem from personal suffering or fleeting hardships. It is something deeper, more persistent, a weight that does not ask for permission but demands to be acknowledged. It is the weight of seeing too much, feeling too deeply, sensing what others ignore. Perhaps you have felt it for as long as you can remember. That pull toward understanding the unspoken, the unseen patterns of the world. You notice the small things others overlook, feel emotions more intensely, and perceive layers of truth that remain hidden to most. Society often labels this as overthinking, as if depth of perception were a flaw. But what if this burden is not a weakness? What if it is a sign of purpose? What this means for you, you are meant to do something with this insight. You are not simply here to exist. You are here to shape, influence, and awaken. But even those who carry great purpose must learn balance. The world has always been shaped by those who saw beyond the obvious, those who questioned, challenged, and refused to accept the world as it was. But this path is not without its weight. When you carry great responsibility, it is tempting to believe that you must fix everything, help everyone, and change the world alone. This is a dangerous illusion. You were never meant to carry the entire world on your shoulders. You are meant to guide, to speak, to inspire. The silent cost of carrying too much. Many who walk this path begin with good intentions, but over time, the weight becomes crushing. You feel compelled to step in when you see suffering. You carry the pain of others as if it were your own. You pour yourself into helping, healing, and trying to change what is broken. But without balance, this leads to exhaustion, resentment, and burnout. You may have already felt it, the moment when your once burning passion begins to flicker under the weight of expectations, when the energy that once drove you forward starts to drain you. This is why you must learn to release what is not yours to hold, how to carry the weight without letting it crush you. 1. Cultivate stillness. Just as a warrior needs rest between battles, those who carry purpose must find moments of solitude. Stillness is not avoidance, it is restoration. Set aside time for quiet reflection. Allow yourself to step back without guilt. Recognize that pausing does not mean giving up, it means preserving your strength for what truly matters. 2. Surround yourself with the right people. Not everyone will understand the depth of what you carry. Some will see your awareness as a burden, others will dismiss your emotions as unnecessary. But there are those who will see your depth as a gift. Seek out those who value wisdom over convenience, who appreciate authenticity over comfort. Build connections with people who encourage your growth rather than drain your energy. Ask yourself, who in my life truly understands me? Are my relationships nurturing my clarity or clouding my vision? Am I constantly giving, or is there also reciprocity? 3. Release what is not yours to hold it. It is not your responsibility to save everyone. It is not your duty to fix every problem. Let go of the weight that does not belong to you. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you choose where your energy is best used. It means understanding that you cannot help those who do not want to be helped. It is not selfish to protect your peace. Give without losing yourself. Help without sacrificing your own well-being. Trust that some battles are not yours to fight. Final thoughts. You are exactly where you are meant to be. The rejection you faced, the weight you've carried, the clarity you've begun to see, these are not signs of defeat. They are the marks of someone being refined, strengthened, and prepared for a calling beyond the limits of this world. Every hardship, every moment of doubt, every time you felt like you were too much or not enough, they were not random. They were shaping you into something unshakable. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are awakening. And while this journey may set you apart, it does not mean you are alone. If this message has spoken to you, I invite you to stay connected. Like this video, share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe Stoic Wisdom for more insights on this extraordinary journey. The road ahead is vast, and in the next video, we will go even deeper. Until then, walk with confidence, because you are exactly where you are meant to be.